Chapter 14. Smilla had not stalked very far from the cottage when she heard a voice behind her. Turning, she saw Rama. "What do you want?" she growled, not stopping. The wizard followed her as she strode out of the village. "I want to ask you some questions about that pendant you wear," Rama said, panting to keep up with the dragon's stride. "You said your mother gave it to you." "Yes," Smilla said through gritted teeth. The pendant thumped against her chest with each step, seeming to mock her. "Do you have any idea where she got it?" Rama tripped over her skirts as they passed through the village gates. Samil heard one of the guards snicker, but Rama either didn't hear or chose to ignore them. "What does it matter?" Samil turned left into a rocky area between the forest and town. Perhaps the girl wouldn't follow her through the rough landscape, but a clatter behind Samil told her that Rama was still following her. This human was persistent. "We need to know as much as we can about that pendant," Roma pointed out. She took her skirts in both hands so she wouldn't trip. "Even once we get to Palanthas, Illiston can only tell us about Talon's half. We have to figure out where yours came from." Smil sighed deeply. "My mother was protecting humans. What was the word her father had used? A pilgrimage." Rama's green eyes brightened. "A pilgrimage? To where?" "I don't know." Smil whirled to face the girl. Rama took a step back and nearly lost her balance. "I don't know why my parents had to protect humans. What good are they?" Before Rama could reply, shouting reached their ears. "Draconians! Draconians!" The cry echoed from the town up to the rocky hillside. "We should go back." Rama's freckles stood out against her pale skin. As she turned back to the village, a Draconian rounded the corner of the cottage and tackled her. Rama beat at the Draconian with her fist, but it held her to the ground firmly with one hand. With its other hand it held a sword at her throat. Samil roared and rushed toward the Draconian. It turned to her, its eyes widening. Samil knocked the Draconian off Rama and broke its neck with one strong blow. "Run!" she cried to Rama. She and the girl raced from the Draconian before it exploded, fleeing dirt and bits of bone everywhere. "What happened?" Rama asked Samil as they ran to the rocks at the edge of the village. "They explode when they're killed," Samil said. "Stay here. Maybe you can use your magic from above." Rama huddled in a hidden nook of rock, watching Samil race to the village path. Draconians swarmed all over the hill leading to the village. Some of them even flew short distances through the air, hurling fire down at the gates. The villagers were ready with water, however, and put out the fires as quickly as they started. The Draconians had not breached the gate yet. The villagers kept them at bay with arrows and spear. Samil smiled. The Draconians must not have been expecting to find the village ready for them. "You!" roared a voice behind Samil. She spun about to find the leader of the Draconians who had captured Talon. He walked toward her, sword dripping with red blood, human blood. Samil found herself angered at the sight and wondered why. "You are far too meddlesome, even for a metallic dragon. Why fight for these creatures?" The Draconian gestured about the village. "They are nothing to beings such as us. Many of your kin have fought for them with no hope or reward or even thanks. Leave them to us, and we won't hinder your leaving." Samil looked carefully at the Draconian's face, seeking some hint of relation. Could they really be from bronze dragon eggs? "We could have been siblings," the Draconian said, echoing Samil's own thoughts. "Go, this fight is not your fight." Samil found herself agreeing with this Draconian. She could find Talon and fly away with her, then leave her when they got their curse lifted. They were almost completely healed. They had no need of these humans. She turned back to the rocks where Rama hid, her gaze locked with Rama's, who crouched behind the rocks. The girl's eyes were filled with fear, verging on panic. "What are you looking at?" the Draconian said. It followed Samil's gaze, spotted the human, and grinned. "Ah, stand aside, bronzeling." The Draconian raised his sword, shouting a guttural battle cry as he advanced towards the girl. Samil leaped in front of him, snarling. The Draconian laughed. "So you have chosen a side. It will do her no good." He gestured behind Samil, and she turned to see two other Draconians flanking her. Both had arrows pointed at Samil's wings. "Stop me, and you may never fly again," the leader said. "This human is nothing to you. Leave, and we won't follow or harm you." Samil froze. She couldn't fly now, but to think she might never fly again chilled her heart. She glanced from side to side. The Draconians were well positioned. If she took one of the archers out, the other would still have a good shot at her wings. The leader nodded to Samil mockingly and took another step toward Rama. With a cry, Samil sprang forward onto the leader. He only had time to utter a surprised grunt before she slit his throat with one sharp claw. She picked him up and flung him toward one of the archers. "Rama, duck!" she yelled. The archer started to duck, but the leader's body exploded right on top of him. Samil whipped around to see the other archer running toward her. Samil thrust her tail out to trip the Draconian, but it jumped nimbly over it and brought its sword down on Samil's back. It missed her wings, but the blow shook Samil's body. The Draconian raised his sword for another blow. Samil managed to slide away, and the sword plunged harmlessly into the grass. Before the Draconian could yank it free, Samil gave it 2 swipes of her claws. The Draconian fell to the ground. Samil ran to the crevice where Rama hid, stretching her body to cover the opening. The force of the explosion nearly knocked Samil into Rama, but she kept the worst of the blast from the girl. Once it was over, Samil rolled over to the side as Rama slowly emerged from the crevice. She leaned against the rocks, breathing heavily. "You saved me. You risked your rings to save me." Samil tried to remember. Why had she done it? Samil tried to recall the fight. Some reason for protecting this human. "I don't know," she finally said. Rama stared at the dragon. After a moment, she walked back towards the village, but Samil heard her whisper as she walked away, "Thank you." That's the end of chapter 14. See ya.